Do you see my shirt? It is a witch flying on her broom, and it says, "On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair." It's an Eagles reference because I like the Eagles and I'm old. But I thought this was appropriate for the last video for October. Thanks for joining me today. We are going over the last 2 weeks of the Amigurumi School of Magic Year 5 pieces. And I'm going to show you what I have done on the advents I'm working on. And if you haven't noticed, my braces are gone. And if you want to know the story of the braces, you will have to stay and watch that because I'm going to save it for the end for the people who are more interested in the crochet and care absolutely nothing about me and my teeth. And that is perfectly fine. But it's an interesting, well, it's not interesting. I'm just stupid. That's the story. I was an idiot. And that's why I had braces. But if you want to know the story, I'll save it for the end of the video. Before I started my video today, I wanted to thank all the new subscribers. You will notice in most every video, I will never tell you my name or tell you what I do. I just am terrible at that because I sound very stilted, and I figure if you are on YouTube, you know how this works. You hit the subscribe button if you like what I do. If you don't hit the subscribe button. If you comment and like, it makes the videos show up more. I am terrible at asking people to do things for me, so I will just assume that you know to do that. It is, according to all the video people, that's not what you should do, what I do. But that's what I do. And it's fine. It's fine. It's working out fine. This is not a new thing with me because I used to work at Macy's part-time when I was teaching. I would work all day and then I'd go and work at Macy's in the evenings and on the weekends. And the only way to move up, or at least at that time, was to open credit cards. For people to open credit cards, and you help them do that to supposedly save money. And I was fundamentally against doing that because I did not want to help people get into more debt for my own benefit. So I never did that. And I think I still am holding that same philosophy when it comes to my channel. I figure if you like what I do, you know how this works, you'll just hit the subscribe button. If you don't, that's okay. Just move on. It's fine. I completely understand one way or the other. Also, I figure you can figure out what my name is. It's on the first card. It's also on my channel page. If you go look there, it's Cindy Smiles. And I have straight teeth now. Kind of excited about that. I really go with the name now. Just saying. But I wanted to be sure and thank y'all who have liked and subscribed. I watch the numbers. I'm almost to 1,000, and honestly, I thought it was going to take at least a year to get to this number. And it looks like it might take 6 months, which blows my mind. I am so grateful to the crochet podcasters who have led people to me or mentioned my name or my channel, and those of you who just have happened to find me. I am so glad you're here, and I'm very thankful. Once we hit 1,000, I will figure out something to do. My son said, "You have to do a live, Mom. Everybody does a live." I don't know how to do a live, though. So I'll have to look into that. But I will figure out something. Probably going to have a giveaway of some sort. Just keep a lookout for that. Let's get started on our Amigurumi School of Magic Year 5. Last week when we left off, I woke up in a hazy daze constellation, up, down, didn't know which way it was. And now I am always waking up. I'm telling y'all, there is a lot of sleeping that goes on, and I just woke up again. It is foggy this time, and I am seeing this little glimmer off in the distance, and I don't know what it is. So I start walking that way. But then, because I'm not paying attention, I'm just following this little glimmer, I fall in a lake. What happens when you fall in a lake? You meet a guy like this. This is Kelpie, or a Kelpie, and it is a unicorn horse, seahorse creature. In the story, it says that Kelpies are actually vicious creatures. I'm not sure how vicious this guy could be, but they assume this one is a hatchling. I used him to get me across the lake, and I was so lucky. He was very nice, very sweet about that, and I just looked at him and realized he's supposed to have some stuff on his belly, some embroidery. It didn't happen. It's mostly because I just now noticed that I forgot it. I probably would have done this embroidery, but I forgot. Probably talking or tired, one of the two. Either way, Kelpie looks just fine. Here's another way to think about it. I would think you're not going to get all your details till you get older, so obviously it's a hatchling. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Once I get to the other side of the lake, I'm soaked along with my fellow witches, and I'm assuming the fox and the toad guard. I don't know who all is with me. It is never clear. It sounds like I'm traveling in a herd. But we get to the other side of the lake and drenched, and it said the wind was blowing worse than a Sprite. And I honestly, for a second, thought that was the drink Sprite. It took me a minute to figure out that's not the drink Sprite. That's the fairy Sprite. I felt a little stupid after that because I was like, Sprites doesn't bite. You drink a Sprite, you don't, there's no biting. But it's because it wasn't the drink, it was a little fairy mean Sprite guy. Moving on though, I just thought I'd throw that in there just to let you know I am not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I think that was already kind of obvious. As it gets us across the lake, me and my fellow witches, we are shivering, we are cold. We knew a spell dried us off. Why we don't use that magic more often, I am not for sure. Because I think the magic could really be helpful in some of these situations. Maybe we're just not smart witches. Does not surprise me in the least. Knowing who I am makes perfect sense. There's a ton of little ferns. There's all these little ferns, and I've just made 2 to give you an example of how many ferns. I don't think we need more than 2. 2's plenty. And we are just going through the ferns, following this little glimmer. And look what I caught. I caught the key thing with the wings, a flying key. I was so proud of myself. This reminds me so much of the key room in Harry Potter, the first one, and they're trying to get to the Chamber of Secrets and they have to unlock the door. It was one of these guys. And I caught mine, put it in my pocket. Now, we are going to the next week. That was week 3, now week 4. I'm sleeping again. I am the sleepinest witch I ever saw. And I wake up. We are going through the forest. Who we is, I'm still not sure. I think it's just me and my other witch people. It seems like the number is growing. I really am not sure, but we're following the map. I'm assuming if we have the map, the fox is there because the fox was carrying the map, but really, I don't know. We're following the map, and while we are following the map, the scenery is just gorgeous. We are oohing and we are awing at all of the loveliness. While we're oohing and awing at all the loveliness, there is this big granite gap that we decide to go through. And in there are these crystals. Oh my goodness. Look at all the crystals. So crystally. Are your eyes hurting from the shine? I bet they are. I bet they are because, man, these are putting off some reflection. Am I right? I'm right. They really look nothing like crystals. But that's what they said they were in the story. These are crystals. They just look like really big bean pods. But you'll notice I did put embroidery on here, so I am proud of myself for that. One of them does not have embroidery. The baby did not have embroidery. Evidently, he was too tiny to worry about needing embroidery. This is not a very grown-up crystal. It did not need all the extras that the others did. Then I'm walking along, and all of a sudden, my flying key, this guy, he leaves my pocket. He runs to this ivy wall. Ivy wall. See, look at my ivy. It has 5 leaves. That's enough ivy to give the impression of so much ivy. The ivy wall, and the key goes behind there and it unlocks something. Who would have thought there would have been an opening to a magical cave in a magical forest? We should have all seen this coming. We really should have. So the key goes behind the ivy, and I go back there too, and I'm still seeing all this little shining stuff, all this little glimmering, and then I get close enough. You know what it is? It is a lightning bug. This guy. They're big. Probably because, I don't know, I use worsted yarn. I'm sure if I had used DK yarn, they wouldn't be this large and frightening because if a bug this big was flying in front of me, I would be a little scared. Just a little. Lightning bugs are typically not harmful, and I think this is a very nice lightning bug, and he's going along. He was very fun to make. I'm really grateful it has wings because the wings are covering up how wrong I did his legs back here. These bottom legs are not in the correct places, but because of the wings, you don't know that. But you do now because I told you. I also did not put his mouth on, and also it was because I just forgot. Again, late in the evening, I forgot. I was just ready for bed. And he doesn't have a mouth, but really, does a firefly need a mouth? No. or at least not this one. He's not chatty. Now, every week there is something to do on our tree stump bucket constellation bag. And last week I told you that it had these little, things like it's going to have roots and a bottom. I'm going to be honest, I already knew it had a bottom because I had already made the bottom by my last video. So I kind of cheated, I knew. I just haven't sewn it on yet because I have to cut cardboard to put in there between the two. And I will have that done by our last video. Now the other thing that I had to make to go with these, I'm just gonna be honest, I am very glad that I found out these go as branches on my bucket tree stump guy. Because when I made these, my 12-year-old self was being 12-year-old, a prepubescent 12-year-old mind. And I am not going to discuss why. When I show them to you, you will understand why. We will not discuss it any further though. These will be sewn onto the little holes that are on the bag. They will be the branches that go in here. And once again, we are not going to discuss anything else. You know these are branches. I know these are branches. That's all we're going to say. And they are these. There's this one. There is this one. And then there is this one. And they're branches. We're going to leave it at that. I'll sew them in by our next video and they're going to look exactly like a branch. So that's all of the story for this week. Next week will be the very last of the Advent calendar. So we will see where all these creatures are going, where I'm going, what I'm supposed to find. I don't know. Is there a treasure? Another animal? Some more botanicals? I don't know. I'm assuming yes to all those things, and we will find out in the next video. The other thing I was going to show you is that I have almost completed my MJ's Merry Advent calendar, which was making all of these stockings and mittens for a display that my husband is building me for back here. And these are very cute and fun. I have chosen a color palette with this light baby blue, this burgundy-ish red and green and pink and cream. And I'm trying to make all of them a little bit different so they all tie together when I put them all back there. Hopefully by our next video, they will all be finished because I just have 2 more to go. 2 of the striped stockings left to go. The other Advent I have been working on is this. And you're going to be like, what in the world? This is going to be a cactus. And this is the Advent from last year's Airali Designs and Irene Strange's Advent from last year. It was a cactus, and then every day you got a pattern for a little Amigurumi ornament to put onto the cactus. And this year what I'm going to do is to make all those little ornaments, and I'm going to stick them in my MJ's stockings mittens thing, and then I will pick them off and put them on my cactus. I don't know how they're all going to fit on there because that's 24 ornamenting things to put on here, and that's a lot, and I don't know how they're all going to fit. We will have little things all back here. That's the other Advent that I am currently working on, trying to get it done before the real Advents get here for December. Just know that is going on in the background. I'm making lots of little bitty things all the time. When my real Advents get here, I am probably going to be so sick of making things, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I've said I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it. I will. I think. Yes, going to do it. Yeah, going to do it. All right, so that is it for all the things that I have done this week. And I will now tell you about my teeth. What happened? What did I do? If you're interested in that. If you're not, go on. It's all right. You don't have to listen. It's fine. During COVID, I am of an age where I am an anxiety-ridden creature. I clench my jaw, I grind my teeth, and it got really bad during COVID. And because I was doing that, my teeth were shifting a whole lot, and it was starting to really bother me because they were moving a lot and getting very what I didn't like. At that time, since nobody was seeing doctors or going anywhere, they were advertising these little trays that are like Invisalign, but they're not at all like Invisalign, that you can get to help straighten your teeth. And I thought, this will be perfect. I'm not having to go out and in the world and get COVID and bring back COVID to my people. This will work great. The problem is that this was not a good company. And every week I would have to take pictures of my teeth and send it to them, and they would tell me if things were looking right. I don't know what would happen if things weren't looking right. Never got to that, but I don't think things were looking right. And they would email me back and they'd say, "Dear David, looks like everything's going right." That should have been a sign. They were calling me David. That was a clue. This was not a good company. But I finished. Well, when I finished, they give you a retainer to wear, and you were supposed to wear that retainer for, I don't remember how long. Well, mine broke the first week, and so I was like, okay, I'm just done. We're just gonna let the teeth move back where they were. It is what it is. Well, because my teeth were so misaligned at that point, I was really grinding and clenching, and my jaw and my face was so sore. I'd gotten to where I couldn't eat and I couldn't drink, so I went to my dentist to tell her that I was stupid and I did this thing thinking it was going to be a good thing, and it was really a stupid thing, and it didn't help anything. And she was like, "You're right. You were stupid. You shouldn't have done that. But it's fine. You're not the first one. We're seeing a lot of y'all. But you need to go to the orthodontist now." And fortunately, we already had an orthodontist because we had just put my son into braces. And we were just fixing to put my daughter into braces. And the orthodontist said, "Guess what? You need to be in braces too to fix this because your jaw is completely out of alignment now." I was like, oh, good. So we decided to buy our orthodontist a new car last year. We did the Smiles family because my son, my daughter, and me, every time we went to the orthodontist as a family. And that is weird and embarrassing. That's what happened. My daughter got out of her braces about a month or two ago. Hopefully the next month or two my son will get out of his. But that is the story of why I had braces and was almost 50. And it was all because I thought I'd take a cheap, easy way out, and don't do that. Go see a real dentist would be my advice. With your mouth, always see a real person. Don't not, is what I'm saying. There we are. There's the story. I hope you've had a great week, and thank you again so much for being here. And I look forward to seeing you next time here on the Rumi Mill. Bye.